Hello, Menches. Well, we're starting our journey. This is a seven-part series of looking at the 5 web platforms that I want to go over the pros and cons with you about. So we're going to be talking about Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, Shopify, and WordPress. So for this episode, though, I want to give you, regardless now of the web platform, these are the considerations that I want you to be asking yourself. So let's go ahead and talk about key considerations, what you need to know before you make the purchase. Doesn't matter, again, what web platform. So let's get into it. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is cost. So what's the recurring cost that this platform that you have in mind, what is it going to cost you? The other thing is, can you update or redesign this web platform, this template that you have purchased from this web platform? Because some do allow major updates and changes, while some do not. In fact, depending on how much of a major change you want to make to your website, you may be having to start all over again. So something to consider, as well as what will be the additional costs. So depending on the web platform, all of them have their own costs. So it could be for plugins, it could be for an e-commerce store, it could be for mail distributions, whatever it might be. There's going to be costs. So just something to think about when you are totaling up your monthly expense for what your online presentation is actually going to be costing you. Then also, can you develop the site? Well, that's going to majorly impact the cost of your project. Meaning, if you wanted to do it yourself, then you can certainly save, usually on average. Now, if you were to actually go with a professional web developer, you would probably be paying for a basic website, maybe $1,500 to $2,000. So what I want to have you answer for yourself is, how much is your time worth? Because it's probably going to take you about 36 to 42 hours to properly develop, a website from concept to completion. Now, if you have that kind of time, fantastic. But if you should be out there selling or building your collaborative marketing strategies, then we may need to look at having a designer or developer do it for you, which then, of course, that's going to impact the cost quite a bit. So your time is money, but so is paying for a developer. So find out what would be more conducive for you at this time, where you're at with the business. And then, can you take the site with you? There are so many business owners that don't find this out until it's time. They just want to go someplace else, and then they realize that they can't. Remember, folks, if you're paying monthly on a website, it's just like your cable. You probably have DVRs, you have programs saved to it, all your favorites and your Super Bowls and whatever else. But the moment you stop the subscription, what's going to happen? You're going to lose all those programs, right? So subscription sites can be a good thing. I kind of say, if you need to go with a subscription site, then absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. But just remember, you will never own this website. So I personally like to inform my clients of this, so they can make the determination, do I want to just use this platform for now, the subscription site, for a stepping stone? Maybe in 6 months to 1 year, I'll go ahead and I'll graduate to something that I can actually have full ownership with. So something very important that you need to consider, if ownership, at the end of the day, at the end of this project of you building this website, do you want to be able to take it anywhere you want to go, to another hosting provider? You want to take it to another developer, whatever? You are going to need to be able to have that mobility with your site platform, right? So just something to consider. Also, with the purpose, does the template suit the business? Now, this is a long process. Planning, can be tedious at times, but planning is everything. So we want to make sure that we don't get frustrated enough where I've seen and coached back a lot of business owners from saying, I don't care anymore, I just want to get it done, so let's just go with that. And nothing good happens when you're making decisions like that, of course, right? So the other thing is, does the template serve the consumer? Now that's really important. It's important that we have the tools and features that we need for the website, but on the front end, what's being seen on the front part when they visit a website of yours, we have to cater to your audience, your primary and your secondary audience. Now, if that sounds foreign to you, like, I don't know what he means by that, then I need you to go back to the first playlist that we created, which is what's in your marketing toolbox. And in that, on that playlist, you'll find defining your target audience as well as defining your brand. I encourage you to really watch those two episodes, and then you can come back here and hopefully you can answer that question. So, does the template serve the consumer? Once you really define who your audience is, we're making decisions based on everything around our consumer, right? We have to appeal to them. So it's not really about us and what we think. All right, so does the template fit the brand? So again, going back to defining the brand, we have to capture something, for our online presentation that represents our energy, our brand, right? We don't want to force ourselves into a template just because we're tired and frustrated with the process, okay? So make sure that if you, let's say you're a DJ, you have a DJ service, a template that usually caters to, let's say, a law firm or a CPA's firm is not going to have the same vibe, not going to certainly have the same tools and features. So we want to make sure that you're being selective. You're making sure that you're looking at not only the layout and does it appeal to your audience, but also does it tend to force you into fitting your business into this template, and the brand. We definitely don't want to do that. Also, can you integrate third-party applications? Well, if you are, let's say, a realtor and you need to integrate like your listings into your website, this is going to be a very important thing then for you. So we want to make sure that your web platform can certainly do that. All right, so now the lifespan. Let's talk about that. Does the template serve future goals? Now you will find as we get into defining the pros and cons of Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, Shopify, and WordPress that some of them are very flexible and some are not. Some may have you redesigning a website because of maybe your ideas, your expansion ideas. Just your template doesn't accommodate that, so we'd have to start over again. Not true with all, but with some that I will be covering with you, and that I will certainly bring that to your attention when we talk about that platform. So, also, will you receive developer updates? If you're getting a free platform, like a free WordPress or a free Wix or Weebly, whatever it is, then chances are you're gonna be without probably certain tools and updates and probably support services as well. So sometimes free is not always the best thing to go with. So do your homework and find out what we call them freemiums instead of premiums. Premiums you pay for. Freemiums, hopefully you get all that you need in the free version, But then again, be aware, because some of these platforms will put ads on your website, and they'll also add their business name into your domain extension. So, sometimes going with free can really make you look like an amateur. So we definitely don't want to do that, do we? And then what kind of tech support will you have? Again, if you're going with free versions, you're probably not going to have support or updates done to your template. So again, do your homework, know what you're getting, but you definitely would want to have tech support. Now, I know a lot of platforms are moving into the email chat instead of doing phone, and that's okay. I don't see a problem with that, because depending on the platform, like I've worked on several WordPress templates, and sometimes I have to reach out to those developers, and within 24 hours they have an answer for me, and they're really good about getting back to you, and they'll be very descriptive with whatever your question was. They'll definitely clarify whatever the issue is and address that with you. So again, the support is very important, so don't cut corners. Again, sometimes free is not always the best way to go. Have a plan. I want you, before you even purchase a template, I'm a big fan of planning. So we can plan things like the pages that we're going to be making, and then from the pages, how are we going to lead people through the website? This is very important, and we also want to know what the functionality is going to be. What's the purpose of each page as well? Not only that, but also, in order to do this, we have to understand our market and what their marketing mentalities are, habits, behaviors, all those things. Again, if you don't know this, I pose these questions for you, and really get you to think in my first episode of What's in Your Marketing Toolbox. So please refer back to that if you haven't seen it already. And then develop content that will engage. We can write all these things, and what's beautiful, if you're bringing in a developer, you want to have all this stuff laid out for them, because then they'll be able to build that website swiftly for you. If you have these deliverables or your plans just coming in a little at a time, it's going to be a long, drawn out, and very expensive process for you to build this website. So planning is everything, and I encourage you to do that. Also, use quality images to tell the story. Hey, we can figure out what kind of images we need. If it's a portrait or landscape or what have you, what do we need to build out this page? Or for people to be able to scan a page and have your images tell a story, even if they were to just scan the headers and look at those pictures, they would know what the page is about. So planning is very important. And of course, if you've watched Keywords versus Key Phrases, we know that alt tags in our images are very important to strengthening our key phrases, correct? So that's why we also want to plan our images to be relevant to the content on the page, so it can reinforce that key phrase. So we're not just throwing up images to throw up images. We're not keeping those demo content images that came with, let's say, WordPress or something, because that would totally work against you. So you want to make sure that they stay relevant. Now, you definitely also want to keep in mind any shortcomings. Like, for example, when was the last time this template that you're looking at was updated? Was it updated a year ago? Think about it. Think about what even a phone has done from last year or even 2 years ago. The difference between what they can do, the capabilities or whatever. Things change, right? So with the template, what you want to look for is something within three months I'd like to see, but 6 months I could do okay with. But maybe, the template was updated within the last 6 months. I'm okay with that. But a year, it's a yellow flag. It's not going to stop me from purchasing it, but I will snoop around a little bit more, look at customer reviews, things like that, making sure that this is not a wonky kind of template that I'm about to purchase for my business. So keep that in mind. Also, what are the consumer reviews? So like I said, you're looking at the big picture of trying to get the best, clearest snapshot of what people are already encountering with this template that you're interested in. And also, how much SEO and design control will this template offer you? Now, of course, if you're going with WordPress, you're going to have a lot of creative control and a lot of SEO input control. But depending on the platform that you choose, you may not. You may just have basic features and basic creative controls. Okay. Now, as I go through these episodes, of course, you're going to learn about these platforms, the pros and the cons. So, like I said in the introduction, I've done the homework for you. So all you have to do is just watch these things, and you'll know exactly what would be the right platform for your business. Also, we want the apps and the plugins. What is going to be available to you? What do you need? What's the tools and the features that you need in order to effectively do business with your consumers online? And you have to compare that to the offerings of what's being presented from that web platform, right? So very important, because if we're not appealing to our market, we're not going to have any success online, are we? Okay. Also, what's the learning curve? Now that's very important too. Sometimes going with simplicity is not always, what's best for you. Of course, we want to have something that's very intuitive, and I think these 5 web platforms are pretty much all intuitive. I would say the one that really has the most of the learning curves out of all 5 of them would be Shopify and WordPress. But I mean, these are wildly powerful programs too. And what you can do, I mean, they're really, it's up to you and your imagination and your abilities, because there's a lot of things that you can create for yourself using those 2 platforms. But again, the learning curve is going to be more than, let's say, Wix or Weebly or Squarespace. But, do you need WordPress or Shopify? Maybe Wix, Weebly, or Squarespace could be perfect for you. Again, if you need to, as a stepping stone, there is nothing wrong with using those platforms. But let's just make sure that you're not taking on more work than you need to, okay? And you're not going so simplistic that you're not getting the right usage out of your web platform. So something to consider. And then, what's great is that you can test drive a lot of these things. There are free versions to try first if you just want to dabble with a control panel, see what the dashboard's like, see if you really feel comfortable working with the editor. It's great. And then you can switch over to the premium version if you like the platform. Some do offer just 7 or 14-day trials. Some will offer just a completely free version to that. So also YouTube is a great resource to learn about. Let's say you wanted to know about the WordPress dashboard. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube about that, or tips and tricks with Shopify or so on. There's a lot of information out there, so there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to make an educated decision on whether or not this would be within your wheelhouse of a platform to work with, as well as knowing if this is the right platform for not only you, but your business, okay? And then also speak to people who use the platform. That's also very important. Do your homework. We have the internet. We have all this information at our fingertips, so you have to use it. Now, of course, going back to the pros and cons of these 5 platforms, yes, I did do the research for you. But these key considerations, I want you to apply regardless of the platform that you choose. I want you to kind of put it through the litmus test by asking yourself, or asking these questions, and whether the platform can accommodate you like it should. All right, and now read and watch unbiased product reviews. Makes sense, right? You never want to go to to Weebly and read customer reviews or their take on their platform, you're going to get an unbiased, or you're going to get a biased opinion, right? So go outside of the source and see what's out there. And believe me, there's plenty of things out there. So that brings me, perfect transition. So what is out there? Templates vary to serve all levels of ability, from drag and drop to the majority control, and without any coding. So don't feel intimidated by taking on any of these platforms. Again, I'm sure you can do it. It's just that how much time do you want to be spending building your website? But remember, this is not a quick, let's do this and get out of here type of process. We have to build something that's going to properly represent you and your business. And we have to have the tools and the features in place. So, again, what's your ability? What can you feel comfortable working with? And then many will offer domains and hostings with their templates. Just be aware that when it's a subscription site, that you can make sure that you can transfer that out of there, and know whether or not you actually have ownership of that website. Okay, so very important questions to ask, as well as tools and features. They vary depending on the platform, so you need to consider that. And the free and premium versions. There's lots of comparisons. Like you could go to Wix. What's the difference between Wix free version and the paid version? You could see exactly what you're going to be getting. And I mean, I do in my assessment, I help you with that, but still, it's always wise for you to do this homework, so you can make the best decision for your business. Now, here's how free and premium versions usually differ. Accessibility to the back-end control features. So you're not going to probably have, complete control of that website template. So unless you bumped up to the paid version. The other thing was updates and fixes. You may be left out of any updates and fixes because you've got the free version. Okay, free versions usually should just be like, well, let me see if I like this. Oh, I do? Okay, great. Then I'll go buy it. But I would never recommend just staying with a free version of anything. Technical service support, again, free versions, you're probably not going to get any. Maybe if you do, you might get email support, but there's no guarantee. I do want to backtrack though. I did say, you really don't want to go with free. There are free plugins out there. There are free tools and features out there, and they do a fine job. But I'm talking specifically about websites, okay? Free versions of websites are too limiting, in my opinion, to expect a business owner to actually run their business off of a free version website. It's just too limiting. And it's going to be frustrating for you because once there's a problem, how are you going to get the fix? How are you going to get that update? Are you going to bring in a developer who knows how to code that? So it gets kind of expensive and confusing, and yeah. Advertisements and branding usually come with a free version. So like if you have a free version, I believe it's Wix, then you'll have ads. You may even have an extension on your domain. So it's going to be your business name and then wix.com. So that doesn't look very professional. That's like having a Gmail email account. You're an attorney and then it says Darren at Gmail. Yeah, that would not be cool. So don't make it any harder on yourself. You're trying to look like a seasoned business owner who's a professional, not an amateur. And then like I said, the domain attachments, they may have their business name on that, included in that. The one thing though that you'll find is you may not be able to take that subscription site like I said, but another surprise to business owners is when they go through a developer or an agency and they had their properties. Let's say they were using WordPress. but they develop that or whatever they have going on. They treat it like it's their property. They're not going to let you take that with them. So it's very important that you ask that question. Subscription sites, we can pretty much guarantee that you are not going to be taking that with you. But if you're having a developer or an agency developing your website, that is a very important question to ask. And make sure that you have independent control. So you can take that with you and you can update that. It's possible, but in rare occasions have I seen agencies just say, yeah, go ahead, take it. But maybe. So just ask the question and then you will know. Well, folks, those are the considerations that I really want you to apply when you are starting to think about the right web platform for your business. Now we're going to get into the pros and cons of each one. So, with that said, why don't you take some time and think about these considerations? And what I plan on doing is bringing you a new episode, a review of these platforms at least once a week. So you will get a shoulder tap. That is, if you subscribe. You have to subscribe though. And then when it breaks, then you'll get an email and you'll have this at your fingertips, and it's a beautiful thing. So subscribe if you haven't, for the email, for the shoulder taps, but also to be a part of a community of business owners who are they're enthusiastic about marketing. They want to learn. It's a beautiful thing. And I've only been on YouTube now since December, and I'm having a lot of people very interested in this content. So I hope you are too, and I hope you will continue tuning in and checking out these completely free, full versions of my Marketing Mensch episodes. So with that said, thank you so much, as always, for joining me, and I will catch you in the next episode. Take care, Menches.